Hey there, Libra Ascendant. This is your Ascendant forecast for the week ahead, from Monday the 17th right the way through to Sunday the 23rd of November 2025. And this is a slightly more powerful week than last week. Last week, all I was really reporting on was the Mercury retrograde and Mars conjunction, which was the most stunning aspect, exact aspect. And that's what I'm talking about here, is exact aspects as they happen. In this week ahead, we've got the new moon in Scorpio. We've got Mercury Cazimi. We've also got a very rare exact sextile between Uranus and Neptune. Now, it's slow moving. So to be honest, we've been going through it for ages. However, it's exact. And there are 5 of these in this particular series between 2025 and 2027, which doesn't make it sound that perfect. But when you consider that the last time these two planets made any aspect was in 1993, and the previous time when they made any aspect was back in 1966 to 68, you get the feeling that this is quite unusual and quite special. And so like, how amazing that they are in the exact aspect on the day of the new moon with the Mercury Cazimi, which is also retrograde. It's quite a shaking week because also Uranus is in opposition to the new moon, in opposition to Mercury retrograde, and obviously is part of that sextile. So it's a pretty shaky kind of week. It's a week that's going to shake us up and put us back on track, I should say. It's not there to just shake you to death and to create chaos and stuff like that. It's there to, I think, kind of shake off the dirt, shake off the things that feel like out of alignment with you. It's or maybe kind of shaking you back on track a little bit. It's a little bit of a wiggle. And with this forecast as well, we're going really deep into the Scorpio energy. And then right at the end, we're going into Sagittarius and getting a real lovely feel of that freshness, that sort of Christmas feeling. Even though Christmas is a Capricorn thing, it feels good. So yeah, this is a big one. We've got 7 trines as well, making triangles everywhere, which I think are really showing how we're smoothing the way. This isn't meant to be. So yes, things are being shaken, but there's a lot of flow. There's a lot of water flowing around, a lot of emotions moving. So I'm excited. Now, this is a whole sign Western tropical model that I'm using. So it might be slightly different to how you look at your birth chart, but hopefully it's going to work. And if you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa, so welcome. Anyway, let's get cracking. As ever, I always start just by giving some thanks to the people that support this channel historically or regularly, and through membership. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I've got 2 charts here. This is the one from Sunday the 16th. So we hit the ground running. We get to see what's going on. And then it's leading us to Sunday the 23rd. So you can see the moon is moving from your first house into your 4th, right the way through. This is a very, very sort of personal part of your chart, very much linked into your identity and childhood. So it is going deep, I would say. Where should we start? Okay, well, first of all, you can see this great big red spot here. This is to mark where the new moon is going to be, because if you have a look from the original chart to the second chart, you'll see that the sun here is changing signs. You'll also see Mercury is shifting from Sagittarius into Scorpio, and the moon is obviously moving through this area. And all 3 of them converge at 28 degrees on the 20th, on the day of the new moon. We don't often see alignments like that. It's pretty special. And whilst they're all converging at the time of the new moon, they're almost exactly in an opposition to Uranus. Again, we don't often see that kind of alignment. And as I said in the intro, this is an exact sextile to Neptune as well. So this is a very, very strong alignment and lots of energies going on. And so as we hit the week running, yes, the moon does start in the sign of Libra, but it goes quickly into the sign of Scorpio. And I would say once the moon goes into Scorpio, I mean, it's almost going to play itself out. Like from Monday until Thursday, The moon is just in the tail end of this waning, of this whole moon phase. And the waning phase is as we lose the light and we turn inwards, so we're going into our unfiltered self, without all of the distractions that life gives us. And it's very instinctive. And for you, it's in your second house and into your third house, which has so much to do with self-worth, so much to do with the value you're bringing this world, and also the value you might be bringing to your community. And I think a lot of this is also reflected through your money, your income. All of the resources that you have at hand are really, really big. So I see that you're going like really deep into something from Monday to Thursday. And yes, it's good for you to spend some time alone and spend some time considering your worth, considering how you earn money and how it suits you, and what of it is working and what of it is not working. I do think, with this opposition, these series of oppositions that are coming up in opposition to Uranus. Now, Uranus is just here at the other end in the 8th house. The 8th house is to do with everyone else's money, everyone else's resources, and some of the shared resources between you and family members. Could be inheritance. It's also things that you share with banks and building societies. I say share like they're just handing out money and saying, oh, don't worry about it. Here, have some. Of course, it's not like that at all. But any kind of business to do with money, in fact, between the money you're earning or given or donated, everything that you receive from your own efforts versus how you're blessed through other people's efforts is really contrasted and possibly shocking. So there's something to integrate about this. And obviously, I don't know you personally, unless I actually do. But this is a pretty big week for you to work something out about this. And if you've got some deep desire about your earnings or how you make your living, and also about your self-esteem that might support how you make your living, like if you realize that you don't have the self-esteem to be able to maintain the kind of big aim you've got in life, you might start to build yourself up. You might have a plan to release some of your doubts, some of your fears, some of your hidden fears about not being enough. Enough is a big word for the second house. It's huge. It's your deservability and your ability to receive. Is your receivership up high? If it's not, what can you do to bring it in? How can you receive more? And so I do think you're going to be checking in with your forgotten desires of, maybe there are some old ideas of how you might look after yourself a bit better. Mercury is coming in to your second house on the 19th. And so to me, whenever there's a retrograde with Mercury, he's always referring you back to an earlier version of yourself. And this referral is coming back to your self-esteem, but coming back to a previous time when you were earning money, a previous decision about money, a previous thought about money, maybe a previous situation where someone was handing you something and you didn't kind of snap at them to receive it. Maybe you say, oh, no, I'm fine. Like that last slice of cake in the middle of a table and everyone's looking at it. Someone hands it to you and you're like, oh, no. And then you have to sit and watch someone else eat it. It's that kind of energy. So Mercury retrograde coming back here is giving you a second chance to reconsider or to make some different decisions that, next time you come. I mean, I don't know how it happens for you, but I know for me, sometimes I'm caught out in my own bad thinking. And, somebody offers me something. And in that moment, my polite self or my, our masked self, that most of us wear a mask, don't we? That side of me that, seeks to be more pleasing than not, that side of you that stops you from really going for what you want. So the mask's off. You don't have to be like that anymore. Mercury coming in here is allowing you to see that you're okay without a mask. It's okay for you to be yourself. You don't have to do something special to be deserving of things necessarily. It's a huge learning. And so as we're coming up to the new moon and also Mercury retrograde Cazimi at the time of the new moon, this is a huge breakthrough opportunity. Now, I post the times of the Cazimi in my membership. I'll probably post them on a channel, but if you don't know how to do it, if you go to astro-seek.com and do a search for Cazimis, it should bring up the times according to your time zone, or you could do it in Google probably, and it will tell you now, I'm sure. So, Thursday's a big day. And so may I suggest that Monday through Thursday, as those thoughts come up, you maybe write some down or sit quietly with yourself and make some intentions or do something that feels symbolic to represent your new set point. This is quite a big one for you. And then after the new moon, the moon swiftly moves into the sign of Sagittarius. And then all of a sudden it does feel like there's a change. Now, obviously the moon's not going to light up the sky for a while yet, but it does feel lighter. The moon in Sagittarius is more playful. It's a lot more fun. All of a sudden things seem to open up a bit more. And yeah, on the 22nd, the sun is going to join the moon in Sagittarius for a short while before the moon hops off into Capricorn. But as we are going through the rest of this week, the moon activating Mars and then the sun coming into the sign of Sagittarius, I think is significant. All of a sudden, it feels like there's vision. There's a return of vision. It's almost like we've been on a vision quest of deservability. And then the feelings of faith for your future are sort of growing, and there's this sense of direction. It feels like a very powerful turning point has taken place, and that your future is starting to speak to you. And, the sun and Mars and, recently, the moon in the sign of Sagittarius will have activated this sense of wanting to connect a lot more with the people around you. And so you're coming into a time of belonging and connection, which I think is what's going to see you into the next week. And as we end this, we've got the sun going into what looks like an X-star. It's supposed to say sextile to Pluto. And that's like leaving the end of this week with a sense of power and purpose. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a very, very powerful week ahead for you. And one where I think you'll be able to make some really big shifts. It's definitely very revealing and it's moving us forward. So wishing you a really great week ahead. Now, if you're getting ready to think about 2026 and you've got some intentions in mind, you might find it helpful to do a bit of planning. And if you would like me to plan with you, then just simply follow the links below and invite me to work with you. I'm working a lot at the moment with 2026, and it would absolutely be my pleasure to do that with you. So hopefully catch up with you at some point, but if not, I'll catch you next week. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.